They say the first humans spoke to the gods thousands of years ago. But what if those voices were not from the sky? What if they came from inside us? There was a time when the world was silent. Humans had no word for God. They only knew fear, fire, thunder, and the unknown. But then, one night, someone looked at the stars, and for the first time, felt something strange. It wasn't fear. It wasn't hunger. It was the feeling that the universe was watching back. That moment changed everything. It was not a conversation between man and man, but between man and existence itself. They didn't pray. They listened. They didn't worship. They wondered. Maybe that's what prayer really is, curiosity, that learned how to speak. And hey, if you're still listening right now, maybe the algorithm chose you. Hit subscribe and like, or the modern gods of YouTube might stop blessing your recommendations. Thousands of years later, scientists tried to explain that moment. Historians called it the dawn of consciousness. Psychologists called it the bicameral mind theory. In 1976, American psychologist Julian Jaynes proposed that early humans literally heard their own thoughts as voices of gods. Ancient texts confirm it. In Homer's Iliad, heroes don't think for themselves, they act because gods tell them what to do. It was a time when the human mind hadn't yet learned to recognize itself. So maybe the first gods weren't in the sky. They were echoes of the human mind. Sumerians called this inner voice the breath of Enlil. Egyptians called it the word of Ra. In India, it was known as Om. 3 continents, 3 names, but one shared idea: the sound of creation itself. And here's the fascinating part. Modern physics has proven the Earth has its own heartbeat, a measurable frequency called the Schumann resonance, exactly 7.83 Hz. That's the same frequency monks reach during deep meditation. Think about that. When ancient people prayed or chanted, they might have been tuning their minds to the planet's natural rhythm. Maybe they weren't speaking to gods. They were listening to the Earth itself. But as humanity advanced, we buried the silence. We built cities, walls, and endless noise. We replaced stillness with machines. Now we talk to invisible things again, but we call them by new names. We ask our phones for answers. We confess to algorithms. We worship numbers, fame, and money. We change the gods, but not the prayer. The prayer is still the same. Give me meaning. An ancient Babylonian tablet once said, "The gods no longer answer because man no longer asks." Maybe they didn't disappear. Maybe we just stopped listening. History shows a pattern. Every great civilization, Egypt, Babylon, Rome, reached its height, declared itself godlike, and then fell into dust. Every time humans believed they no longer needed gods, collapse followed soon after. History proves it. When man replaces humility with arrogance, the fall begins. We're walking the same path again. We replaced wonder with logic, faith with noise, spirit with code. We forgot how to be amazed. But the thing that separated humans from animals, it was never strength, it was wonder. It was the question, why am I alive? That question made us human. It was the first prayer, the first whisper to the divine. If you've ever looked at the stars and felt small, if you've ever cried without knowing why, if you've ever heard a voice deep inside you, you've already spoken to the gods. Because the language of the divine isn't sound. It's feeling. It's awe. It's silence that feels alive. We keep searching the sky for signs, but maybe the answers were never above. Maybe they were always within. We think gods created humans, but maybe humans created gods to remind themselves who they were meant to become. Because when we stop asking questions, we stop growing. And when we stop wondering, the gods die inside us. So, before this video ends, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to silence? Because maybe that's the only place the gods still live. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Your support isn't just a number. It's your voice saying, I still believe there's something greater. Thank you. And remember, the gods are still listening. The question is, are we?